The Twin Engines. Chapter 4. The Deputation. After the brake van incident, months had passed. The Fat Controller went on a small holiday. He would figure out a solution for the twins when he got back. Snow came early this year, and it was heavier than usual. Soon, all the lines were covered in it and made the daily life on the railway difficult. Donald and Douglas were used to snow. They wanted to make themselves really useful, and the inspector agreed with their idea. So, the workmen fetched their snowplows, and the twins set off to clean the lines. The two busily puffed backwards and forwards along, clearing the snow from the rails. Some drifts were easy, some needed more time. And soon they came to a drift which was larger than the most. "What do we got here?" asked Donald. Then they heard a feeble whistle out of the snow. "Help! Please!" they heard a voice. "Law shakes, Donald, it's Henry," shouted Douglas. "Dinna fess yourself, Henry. We'll have you out in no time." Soon the twins, along Henry, returned to the sheds. But the mood there was not the best. "Oh dear, the Fat Controller will send us back for shoe," sighed Douglas. "It's a shame," said Percy, waiting in a siding. "A lot of nonsense about a signal box," grumbled Gordon. "And that spiteful brakeman too," put in James. "Good riddance that he's gone, I can tell you that." "The two were splendid in the snow," added Henry. "It isn't fair at all." Everyone was thinking as hard as they could, but it was no good. "Oh dear," thought Percy, as he puffed away to find some trucks, thinking about a way to help Donald and Douglas. Later, he arrived at Edward Station to pick up some more trucks. "Cheer up, Percy. It's a beautiful day," smiled Edward. "No, it isn't," he said, and told Edward about the situation. "I see," he said. "What you and the twins need is a deputation." He explained it to Percy, who was feeling much better after that. "Oh, what?" asked Gordon the next morning in the yard. "Edward says we need a deputation," smiled Percy. "Of course, but the question is, what is a desperation?" asked Henry. "A deputation is when an engine tells the Fat Controller something's wrong and asks him to put it right." Duck, who was shunting nearby, stopped at the three engines. "Did you say, tell the Fat Controller?" he asked. There was a long silence between the engines. "I propose," said Gordon at last, "that Percy be our, Deputation." "Me? I can't," said Percy, frightened. "Rubbish, Percy," smiled Henry. "It's easy. Edward told you all about it." "That's settled done," puffed Gordon. And with that, the big engines left a very upset Percy alone. A few days later, the Fat Controller returned from his holiday. He greeted Percy at the big station. "Hello, Percy. It's nice to be back." Percy jumped and let off steam. Yes, sir. Please, sir." "You look nervous, Percy. Is everything all right?" "Please, sir. They've made me a desperation, sir, to talk to you, sir. I don't like this, sir." The Fat Controller thought for a second. "Do you mean a deputation, Percy?" he asked. "Yes, sir. Please, sir. That's about Donald and Douglas, sir. They say, sir, if you will send them away, sir, they'll be turned into scraps, sir. That would be dreadful, sir. They're nice engines, sir." The Fat Controller was smiling. "Thank you, Percy. That will do it." And with that, he walked away. The next morning, the Fat Controller visited the engines in the shed. Everyone was afraid of what he had to say. So, I had a deputation yesterday. He paused and looked to Percy. I understand your feelings, but I do not approve of interference. He paused again. Donald and Douglas, I hear you work in the snow was good. Hard work will be rewarded. You both will get a new coat of paint. The twins were surprised. Thank you, sir. They whistled together. As well, smiled the Fat Controller, along with that, your names will be painted on you. We'll have no more mistakes. Thank you, sir. Does this mean that the both of us... The Fat Controller smiled. Indeed, Donald, it means that the rest of his speech was drowned in a delighted chorus of cheers and whistles. Everyone knew what that means. The twins were here to stay.